and Jalen Hurts?
Two Texas boys. You
Yeah.
know, I'm from Texas, so.
What part?
I'm originally from the San Antonio area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, two good quarterbacks. Obviously, any team that's in the Super Bowl, they usually have a really good quarterback.
Yeah. Q, did you have something?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure the sound is okay over here.
I'm just lip reading right now. So, yeah, I don't even need the headphones anymore.
Yeah, no, I'll say you could probably take them off. And you talk about this supplement like throughout your career. Did you ever have an emphasis on your mental health, your brain health, or were you one of those guys like? And I know I was one of those guys that just ran through a wall no matter what the injury was. Versus being like,
I think it starts to change, and when I was in the league, it started to become more prevalent, the brain health, mental health towards the end of my career. And then also just as you get older, you start to think about it more, you know, versus when you're young, you just want to be in the league. You want to play as long as you can. You want to be on the field. And so a lot of those guys will push through some of those things or play when they maybe shouldn't play. And as I got older, you know, if I even felt remotely kind of out of it, you know, I would just take myself out. Definitely. So, yeah, definitely, like I said, as I got older, started taking it more serious. Just the whole, you start to think about life because you're getting closer to the end. You're thinking about your life after football.
Yeah. And how is, like, life after football for you? I know some people have a hard time trying to transition outside of football. Have you really found, like, not necessarily a community, but I guess I could say some sort of community outside of football?
Yeah, so I'm still close with a lot of college teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know I have a good just core group of buddies back home in Austin, and so that's kind of my locker room now. You know, they're all silly and dumb, just like we were in the locker room. So yeah, it is tough for guys, and I think a part of it too is I got to play long enough to be satisfied with the time I played in the league.
Yeah,
I played way longer than I thought I was going to play. And so when it came to an end, you know, I was okay with it.
Because 12 years is a long career, and I mean the average career is what? It's like 2 years, 3 years,
something
I think it's like that.
3.
Yeah, it's like 3 years. I won't say were you surprised because I know like really a lot of athletes really have that supreme confidence in themselves. But how? I really don't want to say surprised, but
you can say it. Say it.
Were you surprised, like to be able to last 12 years, knowing that 3 years is like sort of the shelf life?
Yeah, especially. I mean, I was a 2-star recruit out of high school.
Yeah.
Didn't go to a big school. I went to Rice in Houston. So we don't have a ton of draft picks every year.
Definitely.
Did the whole undrafted route. I actually played in the United Football League when I got out, which isn't even around anymore.
Yeah.
Dennis Green was my head coach. Dante Culpepper was my quarterback. That was like 2010. I got picked up out of that league to Dallas, bounced around first year and a half till I landed with the Vikings, and then got to stay there for a long time. But yeah, I mean, it was almost like I had 2 different careers. I was just a special teams guy when I was young, you know, just making the squad, hoping to make the squad, and then eventually got to get my chance to be a starter at safety, and then kind of had the last half of my career as a starter. And then once you get older, then then they know you can play special teams and defense, so it kind of adds more value to a team.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Eagles' defensive scheme, and being very familiar with John Gannon as the coordinator. What do you like about this defense that really helps them get over the hump to win those games? Is it more so secondary? Is it more so defensive line?
Yeah, I think they're known for their pass rush, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I saw some stat on there today about leading the league in sacks with non-blitzers just off of the pass rush alone. And obviously as a secondary player, when you have a great pass rush, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I think Gannon, he was a safeties coach, so I think he kind of looks at everything from the back end first. And I think he tries to protect the safeties. It's just natural. He was a safety. He was a college safety. They've been playing well, and so they'll have a tough task, obviously, trying to handle Kansas City. So I'm looking forward to it.
And coming towards like the end of your career, did you ever feel like the game got a lot faster from earlier in your career to the later half?
Actually, I would say it got not slower, but you can see things better as you get older because you've seen it a lot. So
I'm saying the speed of the talent, like around, because I mean we see your your Tyreek Hills and your different guys like that. That
yeah,
are really
obviously
speedsters.
the game is evolving. Just humans in general are evolving. There's bigger, faster, stronger. You can look at the NFL. 20 years ago, the average O-line size was not even close to what it is now. So the NFL in 20 more years will be even freakier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I want to ask you, just being a safety too, like you have two quarterbacks, two different quarterbacks. One is more mobile than Jalen Hurts. He's even, has a benefit to the run game as well. How do you defend those guys if you were playing today?
Pass rush. Just please sack the quarterback. Please keep him in the pocket. Don't let him run around. I don't want to have to cover a guy for 10 seconds. I'm not athletic enough to do that. So I would say, the game is up front. Especially we've seen it a million times. Mahomes making plays, extending the plays. As a DB, that's like your worst nightmare. When I was young in Minnesota, when Aaron Rodgers would just run all over the place, we used to call it basketball on grass because it was almost like the receivers wanted to be covered early in the down so that they could do scramble drill, and then they get those big long plays. That was just at the end of those games. You're frustrated, you're tired, you just hope that you win. You got to deal with being frustrated because you're going to cover your guy, you're going to be all over him, and then quarterback's going to scramble around and they're going to get a completion. It's just how it is. It's just you can't really do anything about it. It's tough, but it's part of it.
Former safety, who's your top 5 safeties in the league right now?
Top 5. Man. I haven't watched as much film this year since I haven't been playing. And, obviously my boy Harrison Smith, he's been doing it for forever. I mean, Minka still is getting the rock quite a bit. I was more of, the guys that are willing to like stick their head in it, put their nose in it. Quandre Diggs is
definitely.
I've seen that guy just absolutely murder people on the field. Let me think. There's just so many good safeties. Like even some of the backups are starting quality. They just haven't had their chance yet. Jaron Kearse out of Dallas. He was my backup. I was like, this guy should be on the field. Like this guy is a freak, right? And it hadn't timed up right. And then he gets to Dallas, gets his chance. He's been playing well. He's a captain. And obviously like back in Texas, like everyone's Cowboys fans. So I see him every Sunday playing. So a lot of good guys, a lot of good safeties.
Braintree Nutrition, where can people find it?
You can go to the website, braintreenutrition.com. You can find us on Instagram at Braintree Nutrition. And then a lot of people get us on Amazon just while they're doing all the rest of their shopping. Just add it to the cart.
All right. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes, thank you.
That's Andrew Sendejo. And we'll be back with more guests coming up here in a few.
All right, thank you.
Broadcasting from the Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona. You are tuned into Sideline Sports Talk Network's The W Show on 100.1 FM Kansas City. Brought to you by Gates Barbecue, The Soul of Santa, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, FPS Security, 55 Creative, Phenomenal Kids Child Care Learning Center, Derek Thomas Neal Smith Third and Long Foundation, KC We Spin 360, Walls Real Estate, and Dillard's Zona Rosa.
Playtime mode is the big league. Go. Playtime mode is the big league. Go. Playtime mode is the big league. Go. Playtime mode is the big ring. Go.